So the part that you really showed up for, and the part I'm the most excited about, quite honestly, he's one of our best buddies. We have some of the best times hanging out at some of our trips. Like the agency manager trip is just such a a memory that we hung out and had dinner with Jeremy and some of the other guys. And I just can't tell you what a kind-hearted person this is. This is probably one of the finest people in the Alliance that I've ever met, and under Paul Roberts' team. And we've known each other for so long, and watching him have babies and Amy, his lovely wife. I'm just so excited that he had the time to spare to come on this. He's one of our top producers in the country, and he's so solid. He's so grounded. He's a man of God, and he is probably one of the best examples of how to be a servant to his clients and a servant to the other agents in the Alliance. He exudes this strength of faith and confidence and positivity. You know, when you see him, you just want to rub his head and hug him, you know, for both good luck and, you know, just for the kind heart that he has. I tell you what, man, he's one of those kind of guys that keep you going. When you see him rocking, man, I got to keep rocking because my buddy Jeremy is. He's truly a foxhole buddy that you'd want in a foxhole with you. And so I'm so excited that he's come on here. Chris Hill told me, Chris said, hey, man, you guys tried the $11 leads. I go, no, we just tried the $9 leads, and our people are struggling with those. He goes, man, I asked him this on text. I go, who's killing it? He goes, well, Jeremy Patton and Dr. Phil, they're killing on the Roberts team. I go, oh gosh, that's so awesome. And so immediately I text, and this is before Jeremy and Paul got on the conference call, doing the conference call last week on the Friday. And I realized he's right there. So I texted him, hey man, can you do it for me? And he goes, man, I'd love to, I'd be honored. And again, he's just so gracious. So, and I tell you what, man, I'm just so excited. So I'm going to unleash my man, Jeremy Patton, on y'all, and one of the best people to have. And I just can't wait. And after a leaderboard like last week, I think it's going to change a lot of things for y'all. So Jeremy, my man, how you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
I'm great, Alex. Thank you for having me.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Dude, you know, I love you and Amy so much, and your lovely family, and you've been so supportive, especially when we were going through the cancer thing, and, you know, just all your prayers. Definitely, we felt the warmth of your prayers. But anyway, so tell me about what Chris Hill said, and, you know, what got you thinking of, you know, well, tell us a story about these $11 leads, but I'm going to get into other stuff, just some general sales stuff. But tell us about the $11 leads, man.
Yeah, thank you, Alex, and thank you for having me on. Amy does say hello. I told her last night I was going to be on a call with you. She just loves you and Jenny so much, and so grateful for who you are. When I think about leaders, people that I aspire to be like, you're definitely that. Your heart of serving, and I've always looked up to you. And I remember one of my first events. It's been a while back when Paul and I were there. It was back when you were the IT guy as well. You were running everything.
That's right.
And but I just to me, I think about that. That just shows the Alliance, the servant leader that you are, and it's not by accident that you're building something incredible, building an incredible legacy. So thank you for your example. And everybody on this call, it's easy. Don't take Alex for granted. It's easy to do that, but please don't. But the $11 leads, you know, when they came out, Paul Roberts and Dr. Phil and I were just chatting about it. And we're like, well, why not? There's got to be, you know, why not? Let's try it. And the first step is really just understanding how they work. And anytime something new comes out, am I the only one that resists change? I mean, I don't know about you. I do. I resist it. I still do to this day. I like it how it was, Alex.
I know.
And however, I really do. You know, I just still do. However, we got to do something different. And I was thinking and Phil and I kept talking about it before these even came out. And we had an idea they were coming out, and just chatting with Chris Hill and him keeping us aware of what was going on, and then testing them out. And what I love about them is they're $11. Number one. Number two is they're instant. So, from a budget perspective, you can get more shots. And so I'm going to talk about more about some of the success that we're having. I'm going to talk about kind of why I like them and how I feel they're going to help you out. And then I'm going to talk to you about the script and way. Me, gold. And because these are people respond asking for something, no different than a mortgage protection lead or direct mail. But people are actually responding. They want this and they're instant. So you got to jump on them quick. However, before you start investing in these, I really feel like it's important to have the right mindset to make sure you get the best return on your investment. Meaning this is a volume game. So I want to kind of ask you, I'm not a big basketball player, but I think basketball is the best example here. So if there's two people and one has 10 shots on the basket and the other one has 50 shots, and the one that has 10 shots has way better skill than the one with 50, who you putting your money on? I'm putting my money on the one that has 50 shots.
That's right.
That's right. And so that's one of the big mindset shifts. Is I really believe that the leads that Andy has created with PDR, the mortgage protection leads, those are awesome leads. Those are kind of like a filet mignon. However, you're going to pay a lot more for those. And I'm not saying stop those. I'm not saying that. What I love about this is it can give you and your brand new team members more shots on the basket. And what I mean by that is there's an example. Her name is Victoria. She was one of the first to jump in, and she ended up getting 50 of these instant internet leads. So you're better at math than I am, but that was just over $550. There you go. Yeah. Of leads. And she put in the work. She's still not done working them, but she had plenty of shots to book her schedule up. So that in one day she had 8 appointments. She ended up sitting down with 4 people that she ended up taking care of one family, and it was 2 applications for $3,850. And that she was just getting started. She hadn't gotten a hold of everybody, but even if that's all that came out of those 50 leads, then that's a massive victory. So $550, $3,850 in premium at an 80% contract. That's because she's earned that. Not a bad program. And so the key is that my question would be, would that have happened investing the same amount of money with only 10 shots? I don't think so. You may get lucky, but I really don't think so. So the biggest thing is really the mindset, the attitude of how we're looking at them. So I wanted to talk to you about that. And so really the thought process is really this is an investment in your business. So every $100, this hasn't changed. I learned this probably from you, Alex, a long time ago. For every $100, from every $100 that you invest in leads, you're going to average $1,000 of annualized premium. I do believe as your skill level goes up, you're getting referrals, you're getting back into the home, all things I can talk about, that number will go up. But brand new, whether you started yesterday, whether you started 10 years ago, you're at for every $100, boom. Now I'm going to tell you this. You're going to have way better success putting 500 in or 1,000 in. And I'm not saying you need to invest 1,000, but it works though. You put $1,000 of investment into these leads, or any leads for that matter, combination, then you're going to write $10,000 in premium consistently, and consistency compounds. So they may not happen your first week. You keep putting it in, keep putting it in, keep putting it in. And so that's the first thing is I love the fact, Alex, that they give you more shots on the basket. You're going to, by having 50 new prospects to call, I have no doubt you're going to book more appointments, sit down with more people, and it's going to work out in your favor. So volume, go ahead.
What's funny about that concept, Jeremy, is that people will spend $1,000 on leads, except it's taking them 10 weeks to do it. The numbers, they're probably a little less on the numbers because they stretch it out for 10 weeks, $100 bucks a week, they're still,
Yeah.
or the person that does 250 a week, they're doing $1,000 worth of leads in a month. Why
Yeah.
not just compress it in 1 week and let's see what happens? Because you don't have a
Yes.
pucker factor of so few leads that you're trying to squeeze the production out. You have so
Yep.
many that it's like, oh my gosh, I got to dial through them. I got to get to them. Does that make
Yep.
sense?
100%. You're compressing, you're condensing time frames. Absolutely. And what you're doing is you're anytime you get something started, it takes a lot more time, money, and emotion. I'm not going to get into physics or anything like that, but it's going to take a lot more. Like if you have there's a flywheel, right? Or a big old boulder, you can push on that puppy and it's not going to move, but once you get that thing moving, you can't stop it.
That's right.
And so that's really what you're talking about, is really go all in from this day forward. And what's going to happen if you're putting $1,000 into leads over a month, just go ahead and just make the decision today. It's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be out of your comfort zone. It's okay to feel a little scared. However, I promise you, it's going to be worth it. You put it in today, you're going to accelerate the time, and you're going to write $10,000 in premium. So what if it's 7,000? Boom. And then you're cash flowing 4 or 5 grand next week. It's not a problem to do $1,000 again and again and again.
Amen.
What would happen if you do $1,000 a week in leads 4 weeks in a row? Holy cow. I promise you, your life's going to be way different 30, 45 days from now.
Amen.
And that momentum is going to be on your side. And you're not just going to be a lead junkie. You're going to do the 4 things that we do in the home. You're going to get referrals, right? You're going to find the safe money. However, if we don't get into all these homes fast, we're not going to find any of that stuff. And so, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because that's a big, big aspect of it. I don't think getting 10 homes is going to do a whole lot of good. No, it's better to get some than none. That you get, the more shots that you have, the better off. That you do 30 of these, and you have your regular mortgage protection that you get through the Alliance, and you got your $9 leads, but just spread out the investment. I'm not saying do all of these. However, one of the biggest advantages of these and the $9 leads is you have more shots on goal. And I'll take that any day of the week. So versus just having 1 or 2 precision shots or 10.
As long as you're willing to dial the
So,
phone, right, Jeremy?
the
As long
next
as you're
thing,
willing to put the work in. As long as you're willing to dial the phone.
Exactly. Then that's the other thing. You got to dial the phone. The leads aren't going to dial themselves. So that's where the work comes in. And really going back to, I would definitely re-listen to the activity call from last Friday, going over activity, the importance of tracking your activity and really putting in the work, having those clear, specific dial blocks every week, knowing when are you dialing, when are you running. And then don't just say I'm dialing on Tuesday. Don't just say that. That's like me saying I'm going to go to the gym on Tuesday. Well, it may not happen.
That's right.
But when I say I'm going to the gym at 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., it'll happen. So dialing the phone. So have clear, specific dial blocks of when are you dialing, from what time to what time throughout the day. Plan your work your plan, have specific dial goals during those blocks and appointment goals. And then it's not going to be by accident. You put in that work. How many dials a week? As many as it takes to reach your goal. What's your goal as far as appointments? Whatever, you may be part-time, you may be full-time, but whatever your goal is, it's your goal, right? And but without the dials, it's not going to happen. They're not going to dial themselves. I wish they would. It just doesn't work that way. So, any questions so far? Or
Yeah, what are your particular dial?
good. Any questions so far, Alex?
Yeah, what are your dial times? And there's a little bit of a delay because of the internet, I think. But what are your dial times in your schedule that you like and your goals every week to maintain your consistency?
Sure, thank you. My dial blocks for dialing and running appointments are going to be personally on Wednesday. That's my dial day. Now, and I run, so dial day on Wednesday is going to be 9:30 to 11:30. and then TWC. I usually have food in the office, so I'll eat during the TWC. And then right after TWC, I like to do like an afternoon block, like from like 1, because you catch people over lunch. So 1 to about 3.
And Jeremy's at Central Time, gang. So when he says 1 o'clock, we East Coast, the TWC ends at 2. So when you're thinking, he's like half hour into he's Central Time. So 1 o'clock after the TWC's over.
Exactly. And I'll keep going. If I'm on a roll, I don't stop. Like if I'm on a roll, I won't stop at 3. I'll keep rolling if I feel good about it. Then I'll take a break. Typically mid-afternoon, I like to roll into like 4:30 to 6:30. My goal is to be done by 6:30. It doesn't always work out that way, but typically it does because I plan it that way. Back when I got started, Alex, I was dating Amy. That's when I was dating Amy. And
seriously?
yes.
You just guys always seem like you were married.
Yeah, right. It's been a long time. And so I was motivated because I conditioned myself. I'm like, in order for me to see her tonight, I've got to get my dials done. And so I conditioned myself. Like it was very rarely I wasn't done before 6:30 because then, but I told myself I can't go see her tonight if I don't reach my goal. And so I've conditioned myself just to get it out of the way. I'd rather get up and get it done than wait. So then we have other folks that are part-timers that have different dial blocks. They may dial a little bit differently, and we have an evening dial session. Typically I'm done by the evening. I'm typically done. So those are my dial blocks. Now I'll tell you right now, the more you do it, the better you're going to get, and it won't take as much time. And a lot of times, Alex, I'm done in those first 2 dial blocks.
Oh, that's good.
Not always.
How many appointments?
But if not appointments, I average probably around 20 appointments a week personally. And that's both in person and I do telesales. I do current client stuff.
Oh, rock on. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Could be more depending on the week, it could be less, but that's a good average. And learned a lot on the telesales this past year. But the consistency is going to compound. So the schedule hadn't changed a whole lot over the last decade. So it has a little bit just because I've learned how to get things done faster. And then really the beginning of the week, Mondays, Tuesdays, even part of the day on Wednesdays. And I'm focused on recruiting and getting people started.
Right. Gang, let me emphasize something here. You hear a lot of 40-40 this, 40-40 that, 40-40 this. I'm looking for people that's consistent. Jeremy's building a business. He has priority in feeding his family with the instant income based on sales, but he's devoting his time, energy, and effort as well to work himself out of full-time in the sales thing. And that's what his objective is and what he's doing. And man, I'll take 50 Jeremy Pattons over one 40-40 person any day of the week. Consistency is key, man. Give me someone who does 10 and 10 every week, 15-15 every week, then just one fly-by-night 40-40 person gets burned out after 6 months. Not saying that they will, but then someone who gets 40-40 and then they realize, oh my God, I'm working 70 hours and I don't see my family, and they blame it on the 40-40 program instead of looking at, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a business owner, I run my business and I produce. And you mix all that together and you got someone like a Jeremy Patton who's going to be here forever and someone that you can count on to be on the team and not be a fly-by-night person. So I just want to put that in there, Jeremy.
Thank you. And I'm not going to teach on this, but it's just as structured with the recruiting as well. So it's just the opposites. So I'm just saying the goals, maybe my goal is to be top 10 recruiting. Really, that's my number one goal. And at the same time, I want to be a do-it-first leader and get out in that field because that's where I'm in. I mean, I was looking at your hierarchy numbers, like, holy smack me. I was like, I can't wait to have numbers like Alex Avian's hierarchy numbers. Holy crap, that's a dream and a vision. I want to get to that point. And however, I know it won't happen if I'm not consistent in committing to the schedule. So, and the other thing I'll say, and I think Dr. Phil said this the other day on the activity call, is if 40 appointments a week is your goal, great. However, don't make it your goal if it's not your goal. Like, what's your goal? Meaning, I'm all for if you want to book 40 appointments, great. Like, I think the more shots you have, the better off you'll be. But you may be part-time and work in this business, and maybe 10 appointments is your goal. Well, I'm just as excited and committed, and I know Alex is as well, to help you reach your goal as the person that has 40 appointment goal. Okay. And so, or maybe it's 20, but just because I say 20, don't just say 20, right? I mean, I do believe in speaking things into existence. However, I really feel like it's really important that your goals are your goals as well.
Amen.
And thou shalt not fooleth thyself.
Selfish.
And
Meaning
what I mean by that is like, if you have 10 leads and you're saying, I'm going to book 40 appointments this week. No, you're not.
Amen.
So, but if that's your goal, then get with Alex, get with your leader and say, okay, here's my goal. How do I do that? Well, let's see, let's do the math. You're probably going to get a $1,500 in leads or something like that. So anyway, so let's talk a little bit about, are you ready to hear kind of how the script works?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Very cool. And I think and I'll spend probably less time on the script than I did. I'm talking about everything else, because really everything else is what makes it work. There's really no magic in the script. You're probably going to hear the script. I know, Alex, you'll hear it and you'll be like, well, that sounds really familiar. There's not a whole lot difference. And these are things that we've kind of come up with, and and I don't have it totally memorized. That's why I have it in front of me. So I'm going to say, and I'll send this to you, Alex, so you have it and you can distribute it if Chris Hill hadn't already. But it's basically going to just ring. I'll be ring, and then I'm just going to roll into it.
Yeah.
So, let me just read it. I'll role play. I know there's a delay in the internet, so let me just go ahead and I'll just kind of read it and role play. Yeah. Jeremy, come over here. I have two Jeremys in the office, so you're going to hear. You don't have to be seen. You just have to role play with me. But you just have to role play with me. So ring better assigned to your case, and I just need to verify a bit of information, and I'll have you right off the phone. Now, I have your address listed as 1-2 Main Street in Frisco, Texas. Is that right?
That's correct.
Great. And you put down your date of birth as 4/23/1975. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. And your wife as 2/23/1978?
Correct.
Great. Now, I get quite a few of these responses every day, so I need to do a little screening health-wise. Are you and your wife in good health?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. In the last 7 years, have you been treated for any of the following? Cancer, heart attack, stroke, heart failure, COPD, diabetes with insulin?
No, sir.
No? Okay, great. Now, how about the small type? Insulin,
No, sir.
pressure, drop this information off and answer all your questions and see if there's something that we can do to help you out. Sound good? I'm actually going to be in your area on Monday and Tuesday this week. It looks like I have something open on Monday at 6:30 or Tuesday.
Monday at 6:30 should work great.
Okay. And is that good for you and your wife?
Yeah, we should both be in attendance.
Good. Okay, great. Now, Joe, I have your address again as 1-2 Main Street. Where will I find those?
Pretty self-explanatory. You shouldn't have any problems once you get here.
On the mailbox?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Now, are there any like gate codes or animals I'm gonna have to run through to get to your house?
Nope.
Okay, great. Well, I'm gonna send you a text message with all my contact information, the day and time. So look for that here in the next 2 minutes. And then I have a confirmation number for you. Do you have a pen and paper?
I do.
Okay. It's JP1005. Can you repeat that back to me?
JP1005.
Okay, great. I look forward to seeing you at 6:30 on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's how you say it. Again, I'll send it. The key is repetition. It doesn't have to be exact because it's not exact every time. I was literally reading from the script. However, there's some key points in there that we found that are being very helpful. Same concepts as booking a regular appointment. The only difference is I say this is I'm the field underwriter calling regarding the life insurance request made online.
Yeah, we missed that beginning because it's a little choppy.
Sure.
So we missed that intro.
Yeah.
Repeat that intro again.
Yep. So I'll be like, hey, Jeremy, this is Joe, and I'm giving you a call regarding the request you made online for life insurance. I'm the field underwriter assigned to your case. I just need to verify a bit of information, and I'll have you right off the phone.
That's great because these are instant, like you get them fresh, and that's where you got to get them fresh because they remember it, don't they?
Exactly. You got to call them immediately. I mean, when I say immediately, definitely that day. You don't want to let them wait. You don't want to buy a bunch of these and wait till Friday. Right.
And then Chris said that these are different types of life insurance requests, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you can specify, but most of them are general life insurance and mortgage protection. You can request final expense if you'd like.
Oh, I like the variety because it gives us a variety of age ranges as well.
Exactly.
Then can you repeat the part on asking about their health again?
Yep. I like breaking it down. So the second part is verifying their information. So I'm going to say, now I have your address listed as, now you want to go over the whole part or just the health part?
That whole part.
Okay. Now I have your address listed as 12 Main Street in Frisco, Texas. Is that right? I'll be like, great. And I know you put your date of birth down as 4/23/1975. Is that correct? Yes. And I have your wife down as 3/22/1978. Is that correct? Great. And now I get quite a few of these responses every day. So I need to do a little screening health-wise. Are you and your wife in good health? Yeah, we're in good health. Okay, well, in the last 7 years, have you been treated for any of the following? Cancer, heart attack, stroke, heart failure, COPD, diabetes requiring insulin? Nope. Okay. And if they list one, say no problem. You just want to know. How about the small stuff like high blood pressure, cholesterol, anxiety, depression, or thyroid? Okay, great. So what we need to do now is set up a 15-minute at most to drop this off and answer the questions, of course. And if we see something that fits you, we're going to help you get this taken care of. Sound good? Great. And then that's when I go into booking the appointment.
That's good, dude. I love it. And you know what? It sounds like the script that I teach. Gee, I wonder why, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's exactly. I had a feeling.
I know. Me too. When you start saying this, like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So tell us about the telesale. When does that become a telesale instead of an in-home sale?
For me, these have been more in-person sales.
Okay.
So for me, my telesales are typically from current clients and other referrals, things of that nature. But these are, for me, I can't speak for everybody. These are face-to-face sales. Not everybody.
And so tell me about, I think it's a mindset and attitude regarding booking the appointment, the anticipation that someone's going to push back and say, well, I don't want someone to come to my house. I think agents give up. I think it's worse when agents say, well, you have a choice. I can come over or we can do it over the phone.
Yeah.
Like, they lose that battle every time.
Right.
Tell us about your attitude and your team's out, because I know your team's attitude down there in Texas is we're getting in the house and we're going to just assume it, right?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I mean, with leads, it's in person. So our attitude's been that way. Even I know a lot of things changed this time last year. It was crazy with everything that was going on in the world and stuff like that. But we pushed through that, and relatively quickly, our culture overall was still go see the people. Now it's way more clear. So with the leads, it's still go see the people, because our attitude is they filled it out, they want it, and you're going to be way more effective in person than you are over the phone or on Zoom. And so it's just, we're assuming it. There's no other option. And so that's one of the things is I don't even that's not even an option for me or even really any of our team members to do it over the phone.
So tell me about
So
if someone,
now there's some that do. There's some that do, very few though, and it's very few. And you don't see them on the top of the leaderboard.
yeah. And then when you run into a little bit pushback, if you ever do, what do you tell them?
Like, just give me an example and I'll
Yeah, so I'm uncomfortable people coming into my house because my mother lives with me and she's, 85, and we're worried about someone coming into the house.
Hey, no problem at all. I definitely understand how you feel. I've definitely felt the same way. But here's what I can do is I'll meet you outside on the porch. I'll even bring a couple lawn chairs and we can sit out on the porch. I'll even stay 6 feet away from you and wear a mask. Does Thursday at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 6:30 work better?
I love it. Take the excuse away, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I don't
And
think
does it work every time? Not every time. However, when you have 50 brand new shots every week, coupled with the 50 or the 30 left over from the week before, it doesn't matter.
it doesn't, does it?
Nope.
Yeah. Because I'm getting questions from people on, well, how do you do it over the phone? How do you do telesales? Your telesales are from current clients then, right?
Totally. Yes, sir. 100% current clients and referrals.
Yeah. And okay, so let me ask this about referrals. When you're doing a referral telesale, how do you, the question is, how do you engender trust in someone willing to give you their bank account information? I assume it's because you already served their friend, right?
Yeah, trust has already been built because there's a bridge between their friend. Absolutely. And I have a virtual insurance license on my phone. So if there's ever a question of it, I always text them that before I call them anyway. That way they have my information.
Yeah, that's important. I think the texting thing is important too, because everyone's getting spam calls. And so before you call, you need to give them a heads up that your number is a good number, not a spam number that people will just not answer. And then it just, oh, okay. So then when your number shows up, boom, they're willing to pick it up.
And texting's big with the referrals specifically, especially if they don't answer, I'll leave a message, but also we'll send a very basic text. Say, hey, Alex, this is Jeremy Patton. I'm actually your friend, Patrick Connors, a life insurance agent. He had referred me, mentioned that you may want some information, just giving you a quick call. Here's my number.
That's awesome.
But texting works really well. And just because they don't answer, I mean, you're sowing seeds. You're sowing seeds, and the parable of the sowing of seeds works. It's just how it is. And so it's just being consistent, and it's believing it's going to work is one of the biggest things as well.
Absolutely.
And once you get into a warm market, just like recruiting, once you get into a warm market with sales, it's fun. I mean, this past 12 months, I'd say 90% of my personal production business is warm, meaning current client referral based, right? I'm just now jumping back into some leads if I do it, my team will do it, right? So
dude, that's just music to my ears, brother. Talking about a big chunk of your production last year was from referrals. And, we do need to get out of the lead junkie business, right?
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So how many referrals do you think you average per client that you close?
I would say it's not as many as you think. I'm just consistent. So I would say I average probably 4 referrals per client.
See, I love that, because if you take care of 5-6 clients a week, that's 20 extra free leads.
Exactly.
Every week.
Yep.
80 a month. That's a lot of people.
Think about this, Alex. So even think about the simplicity of this, and we break this down when we're talking to people and we're helping them get started. Outside of leads, because we go over how to invest in leads in order to get a certain return. But even if you make a commitment today to get referrals and somehow, some way, write one application every week off of a referral equals anybody that's not coming off of the lead. Okay. It's warm market. You bump into somebody. That's going to be at an 85% contract level. That's going to be an extra $795 a week. You do that. You do that 52 weeks of the year. That's just under $40,000 in extra income with one referral sale a week. Isn't that crazy?
That's free money.
Free
You know what?
referrals. They're free.
And you know what, Jeremy? That more than covers your lead bill every week to get that one referral.
Every week. It pays more than pay. And that's a nice set of leads too, right? 700 and you get 70 shots. You're going to be writing probably 15 grand a week in premium. So
Absolutely.
the key is taking the first shot. The first shot for you is saying, okay, what are you comfortable doing? How much are you investing in leads now? And can you double up on that? Can you double up if you're putting 250 in this week? Can you put 500 in? Or I love what you just said, Alex, is if you're putting 1,000 in for the month, just go ahead and just do it. Just do it now. Get it all, because you'll be able to put another 1,000 in that same month.
That's
I promise
right.
you.
That's right.
Probably an extra 2,000 if you want to, but if you're getting referrals, you'd be like, Alex, I don't have enough time to call these people. That's a good problem to have.
That's right. So take me back, Jeremy, because I've got a lot of new people on this call. Back when you got started and you were nervous about investing in leads, and there was a point, and I think there's a point for everybody who's a top producer. There's a switch that gets flipped on the decision that, well, I've been hearing all these people investing in leads. Gosh, you know what? I got to do it. Like what flipped your switch as far as deciding that you can be one of those people too?
To actually start investing in leads,
Yeah,
you cut out just a little bit.
Yeah, when you made the decision that I could be a top producer if I did what these guys were doing, like what flipped your switch to make that decision?
Well, Paul Roberts and I go way back. So a big part of it is I know Paul. He's a friend that's closer than a brother, for real. And he's like, here's what we do. And he's like, here's what I'm doing. And so I was one of those guys that just said, okay, I'm going to do that. And so literally I did, and I was busted. I was below broke. However, I had some plastic. Now it's metal, but I had some plastic. And so I'm not saying you need to do that, everybody, but I just knew that's what it took to do it. And I was in a situation where I had already almost hit rock bottom. So I had nowhere else to go but up. And so I made a decision. I was like, okay, I got to do this. And literally I was putting in, I think my first lead order was $500. But it was very regular that I started stair stepping up to $750 a week, then $1,000, not every week. I monitored certain weeks. I wasn't just investing it to invest it. And so the switch was, I got to make a change. Somehow, some way, I got to make this happen. And I just said, and I asked Paul, what do I got to do? He's like, if you write $10,000 every week, we're not going to be having these hard conversations. And so I was like, what? Then I asked myself, the quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions. And now your goal may not be 10,000. It may be 3 or 5. And then I said, okay, what must I do? Well, personally at the time, I needed to book 20 appointments. Some weeks it was 25, some weeks it was 22, some weeks it was 17. How do I do that? Well, I got to have new prospects. Every single week I had to have new resources to call. And so same formula, for every $100 you put into leads, you'll get $1,000 in annual premium. And so that's kind of the thought process I had. Was I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had to do something. And so I just went all in. I was like, I have nothing else to lose. And I'm talking to myself right now too. It doesn't change. I mean, it changes, but there's always a new level we need to go to. So.
Yeah, that's right. And you're looking at on the recruiting side, because recruiting also involves investment as well. And, you know, you
Yes.
think Andy Riddle, gang, invests $100 a week in recruiting? No, it's probably
No.
1,000, 1,500 a week in recruiting. Gee, that number sounds
Yep.
familiar for sales, doesn't it, Jeremy?
Exactly. And with that, that's where a big mind shift for me about a year ago. And I invest more in recruiting way more in recruiting than I do leads and stuff. I do. Yeah, so, but for me, it's like, okay, how can I increase? Here's the thought process, because you broke it down. For me, it's like going out there and winning with personal sales so I can have more to invest in buying residual income. That's my thought process. By running more ads, hiring more staff, helping more team members get started. That's my thought process with personal sales. It's, of course, feeding my family. I'm not worried about feeding my family. But that's the thought process behind that. So invest. If we're putting $100 in, we can't expect to find our next Megan Wood. It's
That's
just
right.
not going to happen. So
That's right.
yeah.
Amen. Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy because the Vinod, when I recruited in November, the commissions I made on that sale, the override and the glow, like my glow on that was like 12 grand, just a glow on it, you know, so
Wow.
the override was just like way more. And I think about, you know what, Jeremy, that what I got paid on that probably more than covered my recruiting investment last year, more than recovered my recruiting
Wow.
investment. And so I think about, well, you know, that was luck. No, it wasn't luck. It was,
Yeah.
I went through a lot of people recruiting to find Vinod, just like you go through a lot of leads to find your mega IULs. Like Jeremy's an IUL fiend, and he just rocks the IULs, but it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because he consistently booked 20 appointments a week, right?
Absolutely. Can I tell you a story about that?
Please, please.
100%. So on the recruiting side, it just consistency compounds. So you'll with that, that's incredible. That inspires me, because you sent me that text last week. I was like, holy cow, that's exciting. Then on the client side, when you're investing leads, you're building your current client base. So you'll hear me say that I do a lot of current clients, that 90% of my business last year, which was over 270 something thousand issue paid, I think, personally, was current client referral based. Well, one of my largest clients last year was a current client that I wrote on a mortgage protection lead years ago. And I just was doing current client reviews with her last year, and it turned into over $60,000 of annualized target IUL premium between her fiance, her sister, her kids, her fiance's kids. And it keeps giving. So as you're investing in leads, what you're doing is you're building your client base, and you're setting yourself up to have an incredible current client in your review year 9 to 12 months from now. And so I want you to think about the long-term investment. This is your short-term investment, but it's building a client for life that's going to continue to give and give and give. Same thing with recruiting. Okay. So people will start calling you back that you talked to maybe 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And then before you know it, they're like, man, I love you. I love what you're doing. It just wasn't the right time for me. I was going through some hard stuff. Thank you for always being nice and keeping the door open. And then before you know it, they're out there issue paying 10,000. Got a story. This is I'll end on this because I know we're short on time. From a recruiting perspective, ran an ad, hired a gal by the name of Janet. She had some health issues, great woman, hired a bunch of people. I hired her brother, Bo. Bo stayed with me for quite a while. He won a trip, this and that, but other businesses were for him. Still my friend to this day. One of my great clients. I write insurance on him all the time. Then he hired a gal before he left named Teresa, who's still contracted, and God love her. She just loves the Alliance and loves this business and loves Andy and I. And we just been in contact with her for like years, Alex, like over 6 years.
Wow.
And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. In the meantime, I'm writing annuities for her and her husband. I'm writing annuities for her mom, all this sort of stuff. She gets her license back, but she still recruits, and she'll send me people. And she just sent this lady that came to her counter. She's a bridal consultant. Came to my counter. Okay, this is going to blow your mind because it's the same thing happened to you is about to happen to me. Okay, and she's like, hey, I want you to give this girl a call. She's excited, great personality. She's heading to my office right now. Her name is Carr, but give her a call. She wants to get started. So she got licensed back in August. Just getting slowly started. And then just through warm market. Okay, her name is Carr. You'll see her on the leaderboards this next month. And so I'm like, hey, Carr, let's help you get rolling. Like, who do you know that we can help you get rolling? And these are what we call practice appointments. So what we've done over the last 30 days with her, not only do we have a 10,000 contact list, we're starting to call through her list of names to grow her organization. She's got 6 people in class, 2 contracted direct to her. But Carr, we submitted $58,000 in target IULs last month.
Oh my God.
And I'll send you a picture of her with the check, and wrote $150,000 annuity that'll get issued this week. So, so my point is she's just getting started, but that started years ago by planting seeds. And so you inspire me, Alex, when you told me that story, and I needed to be on this. I needed this too. So thank you. But it's exciting to see, but sowing those seeds with personal sales, but also building the organization. And don't become weary in doing good, because you will reap a harvest if you don't give up. That's just a promise.
Amen.
And it's true.
Amen. Well, dude, you inspire me, and I know you inspire people on this call. And man, I can't be more appreciative of you, and I can't wait to see you. I know you're probably going to be in some location with you coming up here, maybe the end of March. So, man, you just awesome, man. My love to you, Amy, and your family, and just appreciate you so much, dude. There you go, gang.
I'm honored, grateful to be here.
The General. We appreciate you, Jeremy. You rock. Gang, you heard it straight from his lips to your ears. Inspired stuff. Now it's time to go implement. So if you want to put a game plan together, this guy right here, I will help you, whatever you need. If you got people that you want to bring in the business, put a list together. I will call them for you. We got the game plan. We got the carriers. They're paying. You know, they got a lot of money to give you. They're just waiting. Hey, I got to give you this money. Just go out there and let's do it, man. Let's get some of these $11 leads. Got any questions on that? Give me a call. Rock on, everybody. God bless. Jeremy, you rock. Everybody, we are out. Thank you so much. And let's get on leaderboard next week. Rock on.